In this video we are going to be talking about everything to do with the CFA, the Chartered Financial Analyst. What is it, how long does it take, how much does it cost, and everything else you need to know. What is going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Afzal Hussain. You can find out a bit more about me through the social media links below, or you can check out my website, which is www.afzalhussain.com. If you're not already, be sure to follow me on Instagram and LinkedIn for more weekly and daily posts. Let's get straight into it. This is the first of a 3-part video. This one is touching on what is CFA, so if you already know what CFA is, feel free to skip this video and watch one of my other videos. Today's video is going to be focusing on what is CFA. A lot of people, especially for A-level students, international baccalaureate students and university students, a lot of you are wondering, what is CFA? I keep hearing about it. Do I need to do it to get into banking? It stands for Chartered Financial Analyst. I'm going to do a video on the cost of CFA, so the financial cost, so the monetary cost, as well as the cost of your time, because it takes a lot of hours to study for it. And then I'm going to do a video on, is the CFA worth it? Is it required to get into the world of finance and banking? Do companies value it as much as people make out? And clarifying any questions that you guys have in the comments from this video and video number 2. Okay, the CFA, Chartered Financial Analyst, what is it? The CFA is basically the most recognized qualification that financial professionals have, those specifically in banking and finance. So, you know, when you go into the world of investment banking, when you go into asset management, private equity, hedge funds, all of that stuff, CFA is basically a qualification that a lot of these people have. It's basically a qualification. How long does it take to achieve it or get it? It's 3 years, and it requires a lot of effort to do. Now, you don't do it in your undergrad normally because you're doing your undergraduate degree. There are 3 levels, so CFA level 1, CFA level 2, CFA level 3. And when you pass all of them, and when you've got 4 years of work experience under your belt in the financial markets or in the world of finance and banking, only then can you put the letters CFA after your name. So only when you've got 4 years of experience and you've passed all 3 levels, then you can put the letters next to your name. So when you're studying for the CFA, you can expect to touch on or gain an in-depth knowledge or a firm grounding in the following topics. So ethical and professional standards, quantitative methods, economics, financial reporting and analysis, corporate finance, equity investments, fixed income, derivatives, alternative investments, and portfolio management. Those are the topics that the CFA broadly covers. The reason why it's so recognized and the reason why so many people in the world of finance and banking have it is because it literally gives you a firm, strong grounding of financial concepts and allows you to kind of understand what you're getting yourself into and start off in a strong position when you start in the world of finance or banking at whichever level. So level 1, you can sit it in June, you can sit it in December. So there's June entry, there's December entry. Level 2, which is regarded as the hardest level of the CFA, is you can only do it in June, and level 3 you can only do it in June. Some people do CFA level 1 in December and then they study for level 2 and do it in June, and then they wait another year because for next June to do level 3. So you can do it in 2.5 years, but most people it takes 3 or 4 years because these are very tricky exams. Most people fail at least 1 or 2 of them. So level 1, 2 or 3, most people fail at least once or twice. Keep in mind, even if you pass CFA in 2.5 years, you still need 4 years of relevant work experience to put the letters next to your name. Before we get to cost, let's talk about time. How long does it take to actually prepare for an exam? Now, the recommended study hours for CFA level 1, 2 and 3 each is 300 hours. So they recommend you to study 300 hours to pass level 1, same for level 2, same for level 3. But the average is, for level 1, 300 hours tends to be enough. For level 2, the average hours spent is around 328 hours to pass level 2. And for level 3, most people tend to study for around 335 hours. That's a lot of time. And it's not like you're just focusing on CFA. Usually you're balancing it with your work. So you're working in the financial industry as an analyst, a first, second, third year analyst, and you're doing 10, 11 hours a day, and then you finish your day 7, 8 p.m. and then you've got to go and study. Or you wake up, you do 5 a.m. club, wake up early morning and get in 2 or 3 hours of study. So it really is a lot of work to take on to study for CFA and have a full-time job, or to do CFA and be at university. It's a huge commitment and it takes a lot of work, so that's something to be aware of. Is it a degree? Well, a master's takes 1 year, an undergrad takes 3 years in the UK. The CFA is 3 levels, 3 years. It's not a degree, but it is a degree. If you want me to do a video on CFA versus masters, leave a comment below and I'll try and do that ASAP. But the CFA, it is valuable. It's a huge investment in time and money, and it's very well recognized. So from a branding perspective, it's, you know, there's a lot of pros going for it. A lot of people recognize it, a lot of companies recognize it, and we'll go deeper on the pros and cons later on in a separate video. But today I wanted to just keep it high level for students and undergrads, explaining what CFA is. That brings me on to the next point, which is the cost. How much does CFA cost? So if you're going to fund it yourself, I would highly encourage you to think twice about doing so. Reason being is because it can be quite expensive. There's a registration fee, which is a couple £100. There's an exam fee to sit the exam, which is like £600 or £700. So that's £1,000 there. There's the fees for the books, a couple £100, and then there's the classes. Tuition fees or the classroom fees can range from £200 all the way up to £2,000. So for each level of CFA, you're looking at around an investment of £3,000. 3 levels, 3 years, that's £9,000. So let's say anywhere between £6,000 and £10,000. If you fail one of the levels, to retake it costs money, and the syllabus kind of changes here and there, so you need to buy new books, so the money adds up. Instead of spending 6 to 10 or 6 to 12 or 6 to 15,000 pounds of your own money, if you join a financial institution like a big bulge bracket investment bank, they usually pay for all your costs for doing the CFA. So they pay for you to do level 1, 2, 3, all the tuition, all the books, etc. At Goldman's, when I was there, it was basically you pay out of your own pocket, and if you pass the exam, they'll pay you back. So it kind of makes you accountable, gives you incentive to kind of do well, as opposed to other banks who just pay for it outright, and then candidates don't care if they fail because it's not money out of their pocket. So it's something to think about. So we touched on the cost of it from a monetary perspective, cost of it from a time perspective. We'll dig deeper into all of that on a separate video. We touched on what is CFA, Chartered Financial Analyst, what kind of topics do you cover. It gives you a thorough grounding into financial concepts and the financial landscape. It touches on pretty much everything you need to know. Some firms pay for it, some firms don't. It's really a large investment for you to do it when companies will be willing to pay for you to do it. So that's a quick whistle stop tour of what the CFA actually is and what it entails. Those are like the main things that you need to know. If you've got any questions that you'd like me to answer, leave them in the comments below and I'll try and get back to you as soon as possible. And I will be doing a video on digging deeper into the cost of the CFA from a monetary perspective and a time perspective. And I will be doing a video also on, is the CFA worth it? Should you as a student or graduate consider paying for CFA out of your own pocket? Does it help you get jobs in the financial services? So I'll be doing videos on those. Leave a comment if you want me to include anything specifically in those videos. That's all for today. Hopefully you found that video useful. Do give this video a thumbs up if you did find it useful. Make sure you share it with anyone who needs to see it. Subscribe, turn on post notifications, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.